All right, here we are in the backyard, continuing the September version of the tour. Some things are really thriving back here, so I'm excited to show you, and I'll turn the camera around and do just that right now. Particularly of note right now to me, or what catches my eye every time I wake up in the morning and look out with my cup of coffee, are these raised beds. Now, these raised beds right here are just for our personal use. I do sell some of the sorrel, that's the red veined stuff right here at market, but most of this stuff's just our own stuff. And in the middle of the summer, we planted some stuff that's like we want to harvest in the heart of the fall, so October, maybe November in here, and some of that is starting to flourish. So some of it is susceptible to bugs, like this cabbage here. He's got a lot of bugs that eat holes in it, although overall it looks like it might just make it. But some stuff is enormous. Like if you were to look at the August video, you would see that this bed in particular is massive compared to what it was just a month ago. Doing really well here is this Brussels sprout. Super excited. I absolutely love fresh Brussels sprouts, and I'm really excited that this is working. That's another Brussels sprout right there. Along the middle of this bed are parsnips. That's these big leaves right here. Those have also experienced a lot of growth. The carrots are going crazy over here, which is amazing. Very excited about all that. So that's awesome. Check out these beets. You can see the little beets down there. There's a big one. But the leaves look gorgeous. Some more beets, smaller over here, and some really big beets. Actually, we just ate some beets. We made borscht last night. We just harvested some beets from here, but we got some more. These are Chioggia beets peeking up down here. Nice little beet roots. Those make me happy. For the first time in my life, I've learned to love beets, which is awesome because it's always great to love more stuff, have more stuff in your food arsenal. Tomatoes, you can see this late blight really hammering down on them, these curly leaves and stuff. So I think this will be the last week. One more week of tomato harvests. I just harvested yesterday morning, so there's not that many ripe tomatoes, but whatever ripens up in this next week, we'll take off the top, and then I'll cut those out, and I will cover all of this with tunnels like this, although I think I'm going to use clear plastic because this stuff is called Agribon or row cover, and I've got a really thin version of that, and it's great as use of it as an insect netting. It's been absolutely indispensable for me for insect netting, and that's what I'm using it for right here. But we're entering a time of year when insects aren't the big deal right now, and I really want more warmth to accelerate the growth of my crops. So I will use clear plastic for the rest of the year to create a greenhouse effect, so that when the sun shines down on those, it'll warm the plants up, and that will just make them grow faster, and it'll make seeds germinate faster that like warmer soil temperatures, and it'll also keep some moisture in there to help. It's just it's an awesome season extension technique. I can't believe how much of a difference that little change, these little low-tech, janky-looking greenhouses make. So it's really cool. It's like 2 extra months of growing, I kid you not, and more accelerated growth on the shoulder seasons of spring and fall otherwise. So beneath these tomatoes here is a little world in and of itself. We got some lettuce on the left side here, really starting to grow. It's so nice because the sun angle is lower this time of year, and the tomato leaves have been cut, up to about 3.5 feet off the ground, so the light hits the lettuces at the base of the tomatoes this year, and they grow faster, grow better at the base of the tomatoes. Interplanted here are some beets. Now what happened with these beets is I planted a whole row, but they didn't germinate, they didn't sprout reliably, so I had some spaces between the beets, and so you can see some beets here, and in between I've planted some lettuce, because why not use that space? I'm on a small space here, I'm trying to maximize it, so wherever the beets didn't grow, I just popped some lettuces in there, and they look like they're doing great. Really red oak leaf variety going on in there. Compost pile is truly massive. These little pallets of stuff are my microgreens waste, which is actually amazing compost. The roots, as it turns out, are really good for the soil, and they decompose very quickly, Like this is only a couple weeks old and it readily becomes compost. So that's a really cool bonus to growing microgreens. I finally weeded the flower bed. I'm proud of myself. I'm catching up a little bit. We've got the strawberry bed, excuse me. We got some raspberries, fall raspberries coming in. That's super exciting. The oatmeal, morning oatmeal special. These row covers are over some arugula that I've already cut once, and it's nice because this time of year you can get multiple cuts out of your greens oftentimes. So in the summer, the greens you'll cut them and they'll be struggling, and because they want to be in cold weather, they kind of panic, the plant panics, and they'll go to seed, and that makes that creates like thick stems. The seed stem, oftentimes the meristem, I think that's what it's called, in arugula will grow up the center, and it's really thick and not good to chew on, and it also doesn't taste good. It often changes the flavor of the stuff. Same thing is true for lettuce and lots of other greens. But this time of year, the plant's really thriving and healthy because it loves growing in this cool weather. And so you can cut it a couple times and it won't sprout. It won't go to seed. It's called bolting when that happens. And it'll just grow back more leaves and foliage, so you can cut it a few times, it's really nice. You get more harvests and more productivity out this way. So here's what the yard looks like from this point of view. Looking pretty good. Nice greenhouse in the background. Here's another Brussels sprout. It's been considerably more eaten than those in the raised bed, but I'm hopeful that these healthy looking inner leaves mean that it's going to do all right over here. And these okra, I think, look beautiful, but you know, they're struggling now, starting to struggle in the cold weather, and they're another heat-loving plant. So I'll probably have to cut those out at the same time as the tomatoes. Lettuce, it's a great time to be a lettuce right now, sparkling. The sprinklers went off this morning to irrigate, and it's just glistening in the sunlight. Love to see me some good, healthy lettuce. Same thing is happening on this, right? Lettuce underneath the okra. It's worked really well this year. A couple different varieties. I've got the circle garden over here. Look at this. These guys, I cannot remember what they're called. I should know. If you know what these guys are, let me know, please. But they have been blooming the whole summer. They had a little bit of like an off period, but they were blooming in the spring. And then the heat of the summer, they kind of waned a little bit, and now they're back in action. And they're beautiful. I have absolutely loved having these. I love these ones. They don't look as healthy, but the ones with the purple center and the kind of frosted white outer petals look great. Decorative peppers in here. We've got some late zucchini. Let's see if we got anything growing here. It's a little cold for zucchinis. Yeah, we got some in there. I don't know how big those will get, but hey, there's legit zucchinis going on. This whiteness on the leaves is powdery mildew, I believe, and it just happens when it gets cold and wet. Zucchini leaves, and well, excuse me, when it's cold and wet at night and dry in the day, that's when that stuff happens, and that's what our autumn is like. So, you know, just the shelf life for a lot of plants is low. I could fight that by spraying some acid stuff like vinegar solution or something on those a lot, but that's a lot of extra work, and you know, sometimes you just have to pick your battles. And some little baby bok choy waiting to be transplanted. This is our last round of transplants. I think I'll direct sow some spinach from here on out, but we've got some spinach, lettuce, and bok choy and kale that'll get transplanted before it's all said and done. So that's the state of the yard and garden here in September. It's still going strong. It's a great season. It's beautiful weather. The greens are happy, and that means I'm happy because I'm a greens grower. So thanks for joining me for a tour. I'm sure the garden will look a lot different without tomatoes and stuff and for October, but it'll be beautiful nonetheless, and I'm going to try to push this growing season as far as I can. So hope you join me for that. Thanks for joining me this time, and stay tuned for some exciting updates from the farm. Hinted at in the first part of this video. If you liked the video, click the like button, and if you want updated when these videos come out, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Salako.